achieve a true understanding of the Torah and the mitzvot. Rashi, the first Rashi on the Torah, that opens with that Rabbi Yitzchak said the Torah should have begun with the verse in Shmot, chapter 12, this month I will give you to be the first of the month, which is the first mitzvah given to the nation of Israel. That's Rashi, the first Rashi on the Torah. Before we get to the Torah, the mitzvot, the whole teaching of God that comes to mankind to direct our lives, Rashi said the Torah should have began with the first mitzvah. The Torah, what's the assumption of the second question? The Torah is the guide for life, for the Jewish people. So start with the mitzvot, the first mitzvah of sanctifying the time, right? The new years, the new months. This month shall I give you, right? The Jews have the power to sanctify, to connect time to the divine. So why should the Torah start with all these stories in Breshit of the fathers, and rather start with the first commandment? So Rashi answers, because he declared to his people the strength of his works, in order that he might give them the heritage of the nations. It's a verse from the Tanakh. For should the peoples of the world say to Israel, it might perchance take place in the future, that the nations might say to the Jewish people, you are robbers, thieves, you've conquered the lands of the 7 nations of Canaan. You're in occupied territories, you stole the land from other people. That's what Rashi brings down from his sages. In the name of Rabbi Yitzchak, that the Torah starts with the whole connection of the Jewish people's land of Israel because they foresaw that there might be this claim. I don't know if anyone heard that claim ever, but the nations will claim, this is right, Rashi, over 1,000 years ago. No, 1,000 years ago. Bring from our sages, but Rashi, that's 800 years ago. But the peoples of the world might say to the Jewish people, you're robbers, you're thieves, you stole the land. And therefore Israel should say to them, right? We have the whole book of Breshit to tell you the story that the earth belongs to the Holy One. He created it and gave it to whom he pleased. When he willed, he gave it to them temporarily. And when he willed, he took it from them and gave it to the Jewish people. The whole book of Breshit, in other words. The response that before we can approach the mitzvot and the Torah in the proper light is to first clarify the connection between the chosen people and the chosen land. That this land was given to the Jewish people. Again, this has to preoccupy to be revealed before we get to the mitzvot. Wait a minute, start with the mitzvot, Judaism, Torah. Start with the first commandments. There's commandments before that, the Gid and Moshe and the Brit Milah in Breshit. But the rabbis explained that the question is, the Torah is the guidance of the Jewish people as a nation. Abraham and the Brit Milah, the Gid and Moshe, but we're commanded to the mitzvot from Sinai, the Rambam explains. From Sinai, we were given all the commandments. What the fathers did was an individual thing, but rather the commandment later given to the Jewish people as a nation. The Torah is the divine guidance and direction to connect and reveal the uplifting content that he has for the world that comes through the Jewish people as a nation. And then from that, we're individuals. We're all obligated to perform the commandment, individual level as well. But the address for the Torah, like the Maharal explains in Tiferet Yisrael, chapter 17 and 21, that the Torah was not given to the individuals. It was given at Sinai when there were 600,000 Jews of the nation of Israel. The Kli Kibul, the receptacle for the Torah, that which is created to receive and express it and reveal it in life, is this nationally created essence of the Jewish people. The soul is created uniquely to receive, not just Torah is given to anyone to accept it. Anyone who wants can volunteer to follow these laws. The Torah, it was like this divine light that comes to the world to illuminate and uplift the world, but was given to a certain receptacle that is created to receive, like you have a radio that picks up the sound waves, the radio waves in the air. You have to have this receiver. God created a receiver that reveals, that can receive and express in its life this divine content. And that is to bring, again, uplift all of the world, right? When the radio receives it, now we can all hear. God created this ear for the world, the soul of the world, the neshama of the soul of the Jewish people is to receive this, to receive that which is beyond this world, into this world, to raise this world beyond this world. But nevertheless, so the Torah is given to the nation. That's why the Rabbi Yitzchak says, so start with the first mitzvot of the nation. of the commandment to sanctify the time and the months, the new months. Because no, we need the whole book of Breshit, the whole story to tell us the connection, this life connection to the Jewish people in the land of Israel. That's why also, before we read the Torah, on Shabbat, we take out the Torah to start reading the Torah, and we say, Father of compassion, favor Zion with your goodness, rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. What's that got to do with Torah? We're about to read the Torah, and we start talking about Zionism, whatever. Avarachamim, okay? Tzion, Tivnei Chomot, build the walls of Jerusalem. Because, and again, what's that got to do? What does the building of Jerusalem have to do with the Torah we're about to read? And also later, we go on. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah udvar Hashem Yerushalayim. From Zion go out Torah and the word of God from Yerushalayim. What's that got to do with this? We're about to read the Torah. All this Zionism now, that the name, the word of God, the Torah comes out from Zion to the world. That's how it's built. Also, the Torah itself stresses that that's not the ideal. The Har Sinai, the receiving of the Torah is at Mount Sinai. There it says, when we get to soon we're reading reading the book of Dvarim. It says in chapter 1, like as a recap of all the history, and it says there in Dvarim chapter 1, you have dwelt long enough at this mountain. Like Moshe now summarizes the Torah. It says there, Moshe be'eretz the Torah. He says you have dwelt long enough at this mountain. You received Torah on Sinai. Now turn and take your journey, go to the mountains of the Mori, to the land of Canaan. It said to go in and possess the land. No, the Torah was given at Sinai, but in order to be revealed and lived and manifested in life at the Jewish people in the land of Israel. The Al-Sheikh, the Kli Yakar, elaborate on those verses. Pinu Sulachim, that the whole Torah doesn't start with saying, what is the Moshe recaps the Torah that you received at Sinai, telling us Shabbat, Kashrut. What is the message there? Get up and go. What are you doing in this mountain? You've been here, Nahon. This was a temporary necessity to receive the Torah, but that's just a place of receiving it. Now go to the main thing, is the fulfillment, the manifestation of this ideal in this world is by the virtue of, through way of the Jewish people in the land of Israel. And that's why we continue, like I said, the Ki Mitzion from Zion goes out Torah, and the word of God from Yerushalayim. That's how it's built. Also, one other point is that the word Morashah, inheritance, is mentioned twice in the Torah. Morashah, like an inheritance, but Yoresh, Morashah. In Shmot it says, I will bring you into the land of Israel, which I swore to give to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and give it to you as a Morashah. And also we know, you probably know the verse in Hebrew, Moshe commanded us a Torah, the Morashah Kilat Yaakov, the inheritance of the congregation of Yaakov. In other words, two things are called the Morashah, this divine inheritance to the Jewish people, the Torah and the land of Israel. So what is the essence of this connection? What do we learn Torah all over the world? The Jews, not just in Eretz Yisrael for 2,000 years in exile. What is this connection that is so strong, this inheritance that is connected to the Jewish people and land of Israel? So for that, we'll see what our sages, a few of the words of our sages, maybe to enlighten us. There's more if needed. So the first source, our sages succinctly stated, the top of the sheet on the right. This is from Breshit Rabbah, the Midrash, where it's underlined. Zahav Arati Tov. It says in the Breshit, the land, the gold of the land was very good. And there it's talking about the borders of Israel, the rivers, the four borders, the four rivers that come from. And then it says the gold of the land. What is this gold? The land is so good. Melamed she'ein Torah k'Torah Eretz Yisrael. What does that mean? Teaches us that ein Torah k'Torah Eretz Yisrael. There's no Torah like the Torah of Eretz Yisrael. V'lo chokhmah k'chokhmat Eretz. And no, there's no wisdom like the wisdom of Eretz Yisrael. Again, the question, what do you mean the Torah of Eretz Yisrael? Well, there's a unique Torah. There's a separate Torah. Or we study different books in Eretz Yisrael. What? The Torah, there's nothing like the Torah of Eretz Yisrael, the rabbis state. So again, we've been learning for thousands of years outside the land. What is this uniqueness? What is this so special, the unique essence, the superiority of the Torah of Eretz Yisrael. What is that Torah? Again, like a different book. There's another book that we haven't found yet or whatever. So someone might think that it's a quantitative difference. But maybe the uniqueness of Eretz Yisrael is that you can fulfill more of the mitzvot. The commandments can be fulfilled here. The commandments of the temple, of the offerings, of the land, right? The land, the Trumot and Masrot, the Yovel. So you might think that this is there's more mitzvot that can be fulfilled here. And therefore today, since we don't have those mitzvot, we don't have the temple today either, so there's actually no difference anymore. This difference, this uniqueness doesn't apply, for now, at least, you might think, since we neither have the temple nor the sacrifice, etc. So there's no difference between the land of Israel, the Torah and Eretz Yisrael. But rather, Rav Kook used to point out, other books also mentioned, how it doesn't say that there are the land which depends on the mitzvot. There's a halachic terminology like the mitzvot tetlot ba'aretz, the mitzvot that depend on the land, right? The tithes, the trumot and masrot. They're called the mitzvot that depend on the land. It doesn't say the land that depends on the mitzvot. Like the holiness of the land depends on the mitzvot that you do. You do the word of the mitzvot, now the land is elevated because now we have these special commandments. No. It says the mitzvot, a mitzvot tetlot ba'aretz, the mitzvot that depend on the land. There are certain mitzvot that can be kept only in Eretz Yisrael. They stem from the inherent holiness of the land. It requires these mitzvot to reveal that holiness. There's an inherent holiness of the land. The Khatam Sofer and other rabbis point out. The land has this inherent holiness that is so great, so elevated, that there are certain unique mitzvot that can only be fulfilled here. The truth is, even the mitzvot outside the land, I think we saw this before, not too long ago, how the Torah itself, in the book of Torah, we'll see, as they're entering the land, God reminds them and tells them and emphasizes that these are the commandments and the statutes you should keep in the land, over and over again. Beginning of Devarim, chapter 6, chapter a few times, 11, 12, 14, over and over again. We'll see it inside again. These are the commandments and the statutes you should keep in the land. These are the laws you should teach the Jewish people to keep in the land. Over and over again. That the fulfillment, the total manifestation, the full influence of the mitzvot is when performed in the land of Israel. And even the ones we don't do, or we can do outside the land, it says those obligations that refer to the specific individual, the body, the personal mitzvot, Shabbat, Kashrut, Tefillin, those are fulfilled. The Gemara Kiddushin says that those are obligated even outside the land. Through Mot and Masrot, those are only in the land of Israel. Those are unique to the land. But the other commandments that we do, even those, I think we saw this again not too long ago. The rabbis say, Rashi brings down, the Ramban, the commentators bring down in the verse of Devarim chapter 11, that even the mitzvot you can do outside the land is just so they shouldn't be new to you when you come back to the land of Israel. It's like a rehearsal. You have to do them. You have to put on tefillin every day. But the obligation stems from, the rabbis say, that they shouldn't be new to you. It shouldn't be something new when you forgot how to do whatever when you come back to the land of Israel. In other words, the main import, the main significance, and when the rabbis talk about the main, call it the metaphysical influence that the commandments bring this energy to the world, is when performed in the land of Israel, where they belong. So they shouldn't be new to you, continue even outside. But again, we have to be careful. It's not some voluntary rehearsal. So I'll do it once a month, once every, I don't remember. It'll keep me practice once a month, I'll put on tefillin. No, it's an obligation from the Torah. It's a divine, again, or how do you say, doraita, not a rabbinic decree. From the Torah, the obligation is to do these mitzvot even outside the land of Israel. The rabbis just explained, but why? Because we know that the main fulfillment is in Eretz Yisrael. So why does the Torah obligate us to do it? So the rabbis give the reason, so it shouldn't be new to you outside. But there are some mitzvot that are so unique, the holiness of the land can only be expressed through these certain mitzvot. These mitzvot come and express the trumot and the masrot. All these can only be kept in the land of Israel. Not even, you don't do the rehearsal outside the land. They emanate from this inherent holiness of the land. So in other words, it's not a quantitative difference that there's more mitzvot in the land than outside. There's a qualitative difference from this unique holiness. This is what it says in the Devarim chapter 11. This is the land which the Lord, God cares for. The eyes of God are upon this land from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. This is the place where, so to speak, the divine not God, right? He doesn't, but he's beyond all words and understandings, but his goal, his light, his energy, his blessing that he wishes to bestow upon the world, the receiver of that, like we said, the antenna that picks that up, he created a special place that can receive this divinity, this divine, the eyes of God, the guidance of God, this blessing of God comes to the land of Israel. He created this special place on the planet, just like there's unique, attributes of different, everything in this world. Sulfur burns, has the power of combustion. You light something else, it doesn't burn. Water doesn't. But there's everything has its unique characteristics and attributes. The land of Israel, which whole Kuzari talks about that, right? The king asks, what do you mean the land is different than any other place? Wherever you live. I understand the Jewish people have this special, even that's hard to understand. What do you mean? People, they're all the same. No, everyone is created equal. But no, there's a difference in people. There's, right, the three levels we talked about of creation, the rabbis talk about. Ashan, Olam, Shana, V'Nefesh. Place, time, Shana, like time, Shana, time, and people and souls. There's different levels. Even Eretz Yisrael, the different levels of the rabbis talk about in the Mishnah, 10 levels of holiness outside of Eretz Yisrael, the border, Yerushalayim, the Temple Mount. There's levels of holiness. In other words, levels of this, so to speak, divinely created hierarchy. Not one is better than the other. In other words, this created dimension of how this light, how this good, how this blessing is able to be received into this world. And God created a special place on the planet that looks maybe like you cross the border, looks the same, just like Shabbat, the day before, an hour before. You light a match an hour before Shabbat, no problem. Light a match an hour. What's the difference? Time is, yes, there's a different reality, a different existence, a different metaphysical, not something abstract, but it's physical, it's real, but it's not so tangible that we can see it, but there's a difference. So too in the souls of human beings. There's levels. But again, the levels aren't that one can say, I'm better than the other, therefore the destruction of the other. But the opposite, the levels are built such that how through this pyramid to bring the blessing to all. How all levels are connected. Each one's connected to the rabbis talk about how the one level is the higher level is the soul of the previous level. And the next level, higher than that, is the soul of the lower level. Each one gives life and meaning and direction and purpose to that which beneath. Not like I say, I'm the whole, I'm the higher level that I can destroy you and kill you, and like other people took this ideas of fascism, whatever, as if since you're better, you're high, you're a special race, you have the license to destroy and get rid of everyone else. The opposite, Am Yisrael, the responsibility. God created this unique nation to bring the blessing to the world, right? What is the blessing to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov? V'nivrechu b'cha kol mishpachot adama. That all the nations of the world, the family, will be blessed through you. You're the source of the blessing to all, not, God forbid, to this license to get rid of everyone else, to the heck with everyone else. It's this unbelievable responsibility and privilege, so to speak, but it's an obligation that you have this certain energy, this power to bring this blessing, which is beyond this world, into this world. You're this bridge that you unifies like I said, above the world and it comes into this world. That is. So too in space and in time, there's all these dimensions that have these bridges, so to speak, that connect. And luckily that God made this ability to the world to connect to something beyond this world. Otherwise the world would be locked in the world as it is, suffering and hatred and jealousy and then death and suffering. That's not the way the world was meant to be. It's not the way it will be. God created the means that attaches, connects this bridge from, like I said, worldliness to godliness, let's call it. Like we say in the end of every prayer. Every day, we pray 3 times a day of the Aleinu L'Shabech, L'taken olam b'malchut Shaddai, to fix the world under God's kingdom, to connect all. And it says there, look how many times it says all of the, right, in the Aleinu L'Shabech, all the man, all of the people, all the evil, all this, everything, to connect all of creation to this blessing, to this goodness. But God created this structure that enables that connection, not just, I like that idea, let's connect to bridge the gap between the finite and infinite. How do you get to the infinite? All of mankind is in search for the beyond, right? All the religions are founded about man in search of God, a man in search of how do we serve this beyond this. But again, it's all man-made of futile attempts to try to find the bridge beyond. How do you get to the beyond? But God came down at Sinai. God comes and reveals himself to the world. He limits himself, so to speak, this idea, this content. He makes this bridge that enables this connection. The Or Chaim HaKadosh, yesterday was the Yortzeit, and the Or Chaim HaKadosh, Rav Chaim Ben Attar. He writes in the commentary, the famous classic commentary on the Torah, it's called the Or HaChaim HaKadosh. He writes that Ashrei Olam she'umazu b'tocho. Lucky is the world that this nation is in its midst. Lucky is the world that has this bridge, this means that enables it to connect to something much greater and beautiful, the goal, what is meant to be, the divine ideal of the name of God, of this absolute good, that man is not lost in this world. God created the world, and now you're just make do with the problems that exist in this world. Creation is not the end of creation. God created the world, but now from there, it now rises up, and through also, unfortunately, we had a few fallings or whatever, so we have a lot to rectify and to bring the world to its completion. God created the world purposely such that man has free will and able to bring it to a higher level and to bring it to what it's supposed to be, what it will be. Not that if we choose or not. That will be, because that already is what is. That God's ideal is already what exists. In our world, we don't see it yet. It unfolds and it's revealed and it becomes more exposed as we work and develop. That's our, again, responsibility and privilege and opportunity to participate, to bring the world to its completion. But that will be. If you do it the good way, you choose the right things. If not, it will come other ways. That God brings about the ultimate perfection is a divine imperative. All of creation was created for that goal, and everything that is in this world leads to and brings to that goal. But nevertheless, so that's what I said in this verse, that it says that the land of Israel is the place that the eyes of God are upon this land from the beginning of the year. This is the place that God created, that receives and expresses and can live and is the, let's call it, three-dimensional embodiment of that transcending ideal in this world, to change this world, to elevate this world. Also, that we end in the verse every day, the prayer, the Enev Aleinu, the verse from Zechariah chapter 14. In that day, Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. He will be one and his name will be one. The name of God is how he's revealed, how it's expressed. The divine ideal, they call it the ideal and the real. Now the ideal and the real are not yet one and the same. There's the reality, the suffering, the world of what the rabbis call the world of separation, that we see separate and hate and jealousy and wars and human history of, and besides that, death, the very fact that immortality. But in the future, we're bringing the world back to the level of the God. He and the name is one. The ideal and the real are one and the same. The elevation of this world, that's how we end up prayer. We're taking the world to such a lofty, unbelievable, not unbelievable, it's believable, it's so amazing of where we're taking the world. And God created a vehicle that brings the world to that goal. This content is unavailable outside the land of Israel. Although it is through the Jewish people in the land of Israel, that is the means that enables this content to be revealed. See, the next source of how it influences, you'll see there's the Gemara in Bava Batra and the Talmud Bavli, right? Talmud Bavli redacted outside of Israel. So the discussion regarding the rights of inheritance. Rav Zera differs with Rav Ela. And then it says, if you see where the underlined, on the second source on the right, Amar Rav Zera, before that, Kisalik, I didn't underline it, maybe I should have. Oh yeah, I did in yours. Kisalik Rabbi Zera, when Rabbi Zera went up to Eretz Yisrael, made Aliyah, came to Eretz Yisrael, Kam b'shitatei de Rabbi Ela. He now agreed with the opinion of Rav Ela. Before that, he differed with his opinion on this halachic content issue. Before different opinions, he came to Eretz Yisrael, Rav Zera says, and now, you know what, you're right. Okay, so he changed his mind. But what does it say? Amei Rav Zera, Shma Mina, we learn from this, Avira de Eretz Yisrael machkim, that the air of Eretz Yisrael makes wise. Rabbi Zera himself attributes this enlightened understanding, perspective that he didn't have before, to the land of Israel. Rashbam, the commentary on the Gemara, says, Rabbi Zera retracted his original view since he came up to Eretz Yisrael and stood on the truth of the matters. And again, he attributes it to the being in Eretz Yisrael enabled him to see things, to get to the truth of the matter, this bigger perspective, a different vision. The same rabbi. He didn't convince him with another different argument. He attributed the fact that I came to Eretz Yisrael, The air of Eretz, you'll see this quoted a lot, right? To talk about the Avira de Eretz Yisrael Machkim. The air of Eretz Yisrael makes wise. So the question is, what is the special element that exists in the air of Eretz Yisrael that produces wisdom, that adds wisdom? It's, as we'll see, we hope to see and show, that it's not a matter, as we see from this example even, that it's not a matter of someone is smarter, like this, the two opinions, and one that had was smarter than the other one disagree, but rather the same person that was in Chutz La'aretz, he comes here and he sees things differently. He sees more, what does Rashi say there? Rashbam, he sees the truth of the matters. In other words, I wanted to liken it to maybe one person when he stands at the bottom of a mountain and he stands at the top of the mountain. His perspective, the vantage point, is much different. From the top of the mountain, the same person, not a different IQ, a different vision. The same vision he had, the same physical power of vision. But when at the top of the mountain, he sees this, the top of the Alps, whatever, he sees a different perspective, a holistic view of things that he didn't see before. The Eretz Yisrael enables us to have the view from the top of the mountain. It's a different objective reality, so to speak. I think you cross the border, not the different higher. Although we do call it, when you come to Israel, what do we call it? You make Aliyah. Aliyah means to go up. What do you mean go up? There's the Alps, you're going down from the Alps, maybe to come to Eretz Yisrael. The mountains aren't as high here. But Aliyah is, again, this spiritual elevation, this connection to the place that is higher. It's a higher spiritual reality. It's not some fiction. It's not. There's a different, here, even halachically, the vision that this rabbi had changed, saw a different perspective when he rose up to Eretz Yisrael. It's a different air, different atmosphere. The avira, the air of Eretz Yisrael makes wise.
Is it regardless of whether the Jewish people are here or not here? Is this the same?
No, we'll see. It is a good question. It's a different level when the Jews are here, when the Jewish kingdom is here. We'll see what the Magid, Magid Mesharim, the Beit Yosef, had, like the Yosef Karo that wrote the Shulchan Aruch, very practical in law, you could say rational, whatever. But he has a book also called the Magid Mesharim. He had this spiritual, call it visions, voice talking to him. And he writes down, the book is a protocol, so to speak, of what he wrote. And Friday night, I got this message, whatever, I got this Magid, this teller, telling him, teaching, and also reprimanding him, you didn't do good, you should have done this, you should have fixed this, fix your ways. Anyway, one of the things he writes there is the difference of the level of, I think it says between Tehillim and Esther, whatever. But the book of Tehillim was written, he says, when the Jewish people had kingdom in Eretz Yisrael. And it's a higher level of vision, of perspective that is enabled than the time of the book of Esther when we were in exile. But I also wanted to mention that this perspective is what I call, you can call a necessary condition. In other words, without which, outside of that individual, you can't get to this level. The Vilna Gaon, the giant of Torah. If he was in Eretz Yisrael, what he would have been. In other words, as we'll see later, we'll see the sources about prophecy, Moed Katan, page 25, that there's no prophecy outside the land of Israel. There's a vision that enables you to transcend the worldly, the mundane, the limitations of this world, to get to higher, again, this perspective, this open, the looking glass, whatever, you get into this level of seeing different things. That's in Eretz Yisrael. But I called it a necessary condition, without which you can't attain that level. But it's not a sufficient condition. No, this person that goes to the top of the mountain, if he closes his eyes, he won't see more than what he saw before, the bottom of the mountain. In other words, you have to be aware of this special level that is attainable in Eretz Yisrael. And we'll talk about that. When you're not aware, what happens when you think it's no difference. I learned Torah in Eretz Yisrael, I learned Torah in America. Is a different the more you understand your potential, the more it is effective and enables you to attain those levels. But nevertheless, like I said, it's not automatic that the Jews in Eretz Yisrael are automatically everything. We're smarter, we're better, we see this bigger vision, and the Jews outside the land don't see it. No, there can be rabbis in Chutz outside the land. And you can have a person that doesn't know how to learn Eretz Yisrael. In other words, you have to use this ability. It's not automatic, but it's impossible to get this level. It's a necessary condition without which you can't reach this level of, like I said, prophecy and other levels. The next source, on the bottom, we'll just read one more at least. Maybe there's a few more amazing sources, what the rabbis say, very strong words. But the Midrash Tehillim on 105, what we say every day in the beginning of the prayers, the Sfaradim, Nusach Sfarad starts with it. The Ashkenazim start with Mizmor David, whatever, Mizmor Baruch She'amar, Mizmor Shir Yom Chabat, Mizmor Baruch She'amar, and then we all start. Then Hodu Lashem Kiru B'Shmo, right? I don't know if you write in Divrei Hayamim chapter, Divrei Hayamim 1, Chronicles 1, chapter 16. Hodu Lashem Kiru B'Shmo, Hodiu Ba'amim Lilotav, thank the Lord, call on His name, make His acts known, sing to Him, make music to Him. It says, let the hearts of those who seek the Lord rejoice, search out the Lord and His strength, seek His presence at all times. That's what we say. Dirshu Hashem v'uzo, seek out God and His strength. Bakshu fanav tamid, search His face always. So, how do we search His face? Or on that verse, the rabbis say, what you have here, Midrash Tehillim, one of the classic, right? The Chazal or sages, the Midrashim on Tehillim. On this verse, because it's also in Tehillim 105. Amar Rabbi Yossi bar Chalafta. Rabbi Yossi bar Chalafta gave advice to his son. And he says to him, you wish to see the Shekhinah in this world? It's a nice goal. That's what you want to see, the Shekhinah. You want to see God's presence. You want to see the divine oneness in this world. We live in the world of, what's called the world of separation, like I said before. Everything looks separate. People, places, time, past, present, future. Everything seems isolated. Separate events, all fractured. Where do you see God's oneness? Where do you see the oneness of God, the oneness of creation, the good of all? It all seems one against the other. Survival of the fittest, whatever. It's all this. Well, again, the rabbis call Alma de Perur, the world of separation. That's what the senses pick up. Where's this God is one? What do you mean one? We see multiplicity in the world. So how can, if God is one, where's the oneness of the world? Indeed, our world is full of diversity. And this diversity conceals this underlying oneness, the goal of godness, of goodliness, of holiness, of perfection that exists. But it's concealed. That's what the word olam, world, is from the same root of he'elim, hidden, concealed, as the rabbis talk about. This world conceals the true essence of the world, the neshama, the goal, the divine, the oneness. And it's hard to know what is the direction of the world. A lot of people make headlines and then noise and this. What is the true direction? Where is God bringing the world? How is this good unfolding and coming? It's hard to make sense, to discover the inner pattern of history, the hand of God. How do you see the Shekhinah? So, how to see the one in this multiplicity. So he says, you wish to see the Shekhinah in this world? Asok b'Torah, learn Torah. What does it say? If you can see the print there, small print. Asok b'Torah be'Eretz Yisrael. Learn Torah in Eretz Yisrael. This will enable you to find the one, the divine, the Shekhinah, in all this seemingly, again, diversity of seemingly there's no oneness in it all. It's like in history, how to see the divine hand, the events that are the true things that shape the world history. Sometimes the headlines are other things, and the true things go unnoticed. It's like this vision we have Am Yisrael created with this special vision. If we use it, if we develop it, it's where, like I said, the potential is there. In Eretz Yisrael, by learning Torah in Eretz Yisrael, getting on the top of the mountain, we can see different things. All of a sudden, we can know how to connect the dots. Like there's those games, not games. Connect the dots. You have a picture, and it's all these different dots, and they're numbered. Right? You ever seen it? I don't know, in Italy, they have these picture with a bunch of dots.
It's for their time.
Yeah. Oh.
No.
There's a picture with a bunch of dots with numbers, and if you connect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all then all of a sudden you have a picture. It's a picture of some, they do for the children. The kids have these pictures. All of a sudden, an elephant, whatever. You didn't see before, a bunch of dots. But if you connect them properly, wow, you see, wow, look how, what was there, hidden, so to speak. The ability to, in other words, to connect the dots, to see the hand of God in history. Or I would call it maybe another metaphor of the white light that that goes through a prism, right? The white light comes to a prism, diffracted in different colors, right? You have the spectrum, different colors, right?
Okay.
But there's a white light that you through all of a sudden goes through the prism, and then you see all these colors. The vision of Eretz Yisrael, the top of the mountain, what's that view? That enables you to see the white light before the separation, to see the true essence, the divine hand before it comes to this world, so to speak, and the fractured and the dissected, and everything is against, and all the negativity that comes from, like again, the potential of the negativity, because everything seems separate. So I can hate you, I can hit you, I don't feel the pain, and you're separate. And not realizing the oneness of, we're all part of one unit, one body, that you don't hit someone like the Gemara says in the Yerushalmi, in the Darim. How can one not take vengeance on someone else? Someone hits you, you want to hit him back. No, but if you realize it's all one body, you're the right hand, you're the left hand. The left hand, the Gemara gives an example, right? Someone cuts a piece of meat and he slips and he cuts his left hand. Will the left hand now rise up to take revenge on his right hand? No, it's one body, it's one unit. But if you don't realize that, you don't feel that, the body is anesthetized. So each limb feels that I'm alone. You hit me, I'll get you back. The world is one, but we don't see that. The world, the helim, the worldliness of the world conceals that inner unity. Our goal is to expose that, to reveal that. But it exists, it's already there. Again, it's just covered. We don't have to make the world one. Who says that we'll succeed? You have a nice lofty goal. Man should be one and live in peace. And what it says in Yeshayahu chapter 2, in that same place where it says, from Zion will go out Torah, the word of God from Yerushalayim. And it says how you'll beat your swords into plowshares. The future of mankind, of living together as one, recognizing that the oneness of God, and therefore we're all branches of one goodness. There's no possibility of hating and trying to hurt other people. We have to develop that vision. And that's what Eretz Yisrael enables, that vision. There we're above the clouds, above before the prism, it's separate. We put our heads are supposed to be the Levant of Eretz Yisrael. If you wish to see the Shekhinah, you wish to see the oneness, the white light, before all this separateness and hatred and jealousy, how to unify, the ability to unify it, to recognize it. Do you want to see the Shekhinah, the oneness of God in this world? Asok b'Torah b'Eretz Yisrael. Learn Torah in Eretz Yisrael. That enables this unique, amazing perspective that is not attainable outside. Not because you're not smart. The same person. Rab Zera was outside. He changed his mind. He saw the bigger picture when he came to Eretz Yisrael. The air of Eretz Yisrael makes wise. The air of Eretz Yisrael enables this godly created other planet, so to speak, other dimension on earth, the land of Israel, enables this vision. There's a book I read once, one of the students was here. Remember Ariel Pasco, I think it was from him. There's a book called The Fourth Dimension and How to Get There. Anyway, I had different things of different metaphors. Also the book Flatland, I think it was called. How different creatures that think, the world is living on a two-dimensional plane, and all of a sudden this other dimension comes into intersects with their world. Like a hand comes into the world, they see little 3-5 different circles, right? They see, or like the allegory of the cave of Plato, right? The people living in the cave and they see that you're shadows, they think that's the world. And he talks about in that book, The Fourth Dimension, How to Get There, Rudy Rucker, I think, of what he calls this Einstein-Rosen bridge. Like there's a bridge that's to other dimensions. There's the bridge. The bridge, the true bridge, is a divinely created bridge, like I said before, that enables us to get to beyond. You want to see the Shekhinah? Learn Torah in Eretz Yisrael. That enables you to transcend the limitations of this world and to connect to that higher dimension, the higher true reality, and help bring that. Now you can guide and direct The people that are sitting like the Mishat Yeshim, the path of the just in the beginning of the people that go through this, what's it called? Maze. Like they have, the kings used to have like these
The garden. Like,
gardens, whatever you have to go through and you get stuck at the end. The guy from the top can tell them how to go. Like the Messiah uses that metaphor of the divine guidance from above tells us how to go around in this world where we get stuck and end up we dead ends. The Eretz Yisrael enables this vision in order not just to leave this world, in order to come back and guide this world, to guide all the branches and realize that you're branches of a oneness, of a holiness. You're different limbs of one body, all of mankind, all of the world, all the space and time. It's all this oneness, this good, this blessing, this white light of the divine ideal, the name of God that will fill the earth. What does that mean? This divine ideal will permeate all. And the ability to see that is not from the labyrinth, what labyrinth it's called, whatever. From this, you can't see it from the earth itself. You need Archimedes' point from beyond the world to raise the world beyond the world. You can't pick yourself up. The divine, this dimension that Eretz Yisrael, the Jewish people in the land of Israel, enables this vision, this not just vision, this reality that can now, is meant to be and will pick up the world and raise the world beyond the limitation of this world. But it comes from the divine source that is above, that before these limitations. And mankind can link to that through the Jewish people out of Israel to bring this blessing to all. Like I said, the fathers were blessed. Through you, the blessing will come to all of mankind. And we'll continue on this, B'ezrat Hashem, to be continued.